Hey, welcome to another edition of the Savvy Steward. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We thank you so much for tuning in to this video. Thank you so much for supporting Low Seed Financial and Business Solutions. Be sure to go to our website for much more content, lots of content to help you on either your personal or your entrepreneurial journey, okay, at loveserveeducate.com. So today we're going to be talking about traditional ways to save. It's always a hot topic, just saving, and also I know it also incorporates budgeting, but also just saving any type of money. It's some of the biggest things people struggle with. I always compare saving money with losing weight. It takes discipline for both. And you don't want to go hard, extremely fast. Like if you have not worked out in a while, you're not just going to go and start pumping 100-pound weights right off the bat, right? So I don't also encourage you to go ahead and save $5,000 right now off the bat. Like you do have to start in incremental pieces to get to the goals that you want to reach, and even more so, create habits, better habits around saving money. Okay. So, one of the first things, or the first thing I want to discuss, is not probably a rule that you have heard of, but one that was given to me by my favorite cousin on my husband's side, Leanne. So, Leanne, if you're watching this, thank you so much for teaching me about the five nickel rule. Okay. So, how the five nickel rule works is if you take your whole hand and each one represents a nickel, or if you like percentages, every finger represents 20%. You do 20, you do 40%, two nickels on your debt and your necessities. So things that you need. You do another 20% in savings, right? Or 40%, another two nickels in savings. And then that last 20%, you would use to do whatever you want with. I do like the five nickel rule. It helps to prioritize, hey, what your needs, what your debts and things are, but also saving and accumulating money. And then also it takes into our human nature of, hey, I want what I want sometimes when I want it. And again, that goes into the whole discipline piece as well. Should you wait a little while before making a purchase? If that's 24 hours, if that's a week, to say, hey, do I really need that, instead of just impulse buying? That's important to really think about and reflect upon with how you're spending for things that you want. But I do like the five nickel rule in that it helps to give a little bit of leeway to the things that you want. A lot of people, when they hear budget or when they hear the word save, it feels like it's restricting them from doing something. So anything that may feel a little bit more flexible, people are going to generally, you know, they're gonna take to, or want to gravitate towards that a little bit more. So, another rule, which is a very popular rule, which a lot of people have probably heard about, is the 50-30-20. Still talking in percentages: 50% for what you need, 30% for what you want, and then 20% for savings and for debt. Okay, so this allows you to definitely, if you have any kind of debt or needing any personal debt management that needs to be done. This is a hard focus on that, making sure that you're contributing at least 10% to your debt management and your personal credit, and working on that. So I do like the 50-30-20 rule in that way, and that it helps to make sure that you are consistently working on debt management strategies, but also giving some to what you need again and some to what you want. So, personally, for me, I just budget two twice a month. Every 2 weeks, I pull out a piece of paper. I take down my income, the expenses, and I'm allocating things towards that. If I would say on a monthly basis, if you've seen any of my videos, I tithe faithfully at 10%, and then I save 10% of my income. Right. But there's also things that I do just to save, as a discipline, just building up a habit. So I did want to have a little couple props for you today. So this is my 2 liter bottle that I have that contains all dimes, right? So once this bottle is full, it will be worth about $700, all in dimes, all in a 2 liter bottle. Okay. This is my gallon of quarters. Once this quarter gallon is full, it's going to be worth about $1,200, right? But again, for me, it's not about, and I have not at all, since I've contributed to these two bottles, the 2 liter bottle and the gallon bottle, have went into the bottle to take out money. They're just continuously growing, right? Because again, you want to set the habit of discipline, to be able to put money away, to be able to save money in a certain place and not touch it. So if you have to start small, that's okay. If it needs to be a penny jug that you do not touch, do it, because it will add up, right? Because we want to get to a place where now, when you're saving those dollars or those $10 or those $20, $100, $1,000, that you're more inclined to leave those alone and not touch them. It's so important to have some type of savings, because emergencies occur. If it's not for anything else, you should have a savings for an emergency. Emergencies happen all the time. You cannot calculate when they're going to happen and how they're going to happen. So you want to make sure that if you have any savings for anything, that you at least have it for an emergency. If it is for your tire going out or going flat, you a tire is now what, close to $300 to $400 each. Can you afford, if your tire goes flat, if you hit a nail in the street? Is that something that you could afford? If it's a medical bill or something that comes up suddenly, do you have any money to be able to afford an emergency? And then after an emergency, some of the things that you do want that may be higher dollar expenses, if those are travel expenses, if those are college expenses or professional development expenses, you want to make sure you have those on hand. Okay. So remember, if you take nothing away from what we discussed today, start small. Start small. Let's start consistently. Make it a consistent habit to start saving money. Now, are these my only means of saving? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because once that discipline and that consistency, once they kick in for your savings, you're going to be able to save a lot more. So, like I said, this is the lowest amount I save is a dime. But we've talked about in other videos having a money market savings account and that earning a lot of interest for me. If it's also the government bonds, I was going to say I series government bonds, those are savings as well. Having CDs, those certificates of deposit, I've mentioned those. There are multiple avenues that I use to save, but again, I can save small and I can save big, but it starts with the consistent discipline of saving. So again, if I cannot tell you anything, save something, get the habit um, ingrained in your spirit, and you will continue to thrive. But you have to start, even if it's starting small, and you have to keep going as it relates to your savings. You do not want to be stuck in an emergency and have to ask. Um, I'll get into a little personal thing. If you are asking someone else for money, that gives them the right to ask you why you're asking for money. That gives them the right to ask you or to get in your business about why you're not financially stable because you're asking that person for money. And that's even if you use funding tools like GoFundMe or any web based funding sites. If you're asking people for money, you are also allowing people to ask you about your financial health. So just be mindful of that and be mindful that everyone isn't going to say yes when you ask. So make sure that you are responsible, financially responsible, fiscally responsible as it comes to your financial health, your income, your savings, and even as it relates to your contributions for your future. Okay. But remember, you can always reach out to us about a consultation at www.loveserveeducate.com as it pertains to your savings, to your budget, to your financial goals. We are here for you and here to support you through love, service, and education. Know that we're also going to be honest in that love and that serve. In that service and that education as well. But thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all for watching and supporting the YouTube channel, as well as your support through other forms of media, whether they be Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Again, I look forward to seeing you all on the next edition of The Savvy Steward.